The great speaker tonight, the main event, Coach Mike Norvell. Well, I know we had to turn up the heat just a little bit because we're only a couple weeks away from being able to kick off this season. And, we're so excited about this year that's ahead. But I just wanted to first start off and just say thank you. I want to say thank you for your support, right? For your encouragement, right? For who you are and what we get to represent. Because I have the best job in the world because I get to represent you. I get to represent this university. I get to represent this incredible program, all the traditions, all the history, the great coaches. We have a couple sitting up here today. The wonderful players. We have a couple here in the audience. The players that were in this room earlier. I get to represent all of those things in my position. And I'm so grateful for not only what I get to represent, but who and for who and what we stand for as a program. And I'm so honored to be able to come and to kick off this year, speaking to you and to have a record crowd. All the excitement, all the energy. You feel it in Tallahassee. You feel it across this country. And you feel it a part of our football team. Because the players that I get to coach, man, they are in a special, special group. A special group of unique young men, all from a different background, all from a bit different journey. But they all came here for a common cause and a common purpose. Some of them have been here throughout our complete journey over these last few years. And oh, what a journey it's been. Right? The highs, the lows, the great moments and the moments of disappointment. But every one of those steps were absolutely critical for us to continue to grow, to put ourselves in a position to take that next step. The first year I came and I talked to you about our Noles family values. What we wanted our program to look like, the foundation of what we were building. We talked about service. We talked about sacrifice. And we talked about respect, as many as you guys remember. Last year we came back and we talked about the climb. What that was. What we were aspiring to be, how we were going to continue to do this. We talked about that commitment to those values. We talked about the little things that set us apart. We talked about the intensity that we had to bring every single day on our mission to where we were going. We talked about the mental toughness, right? And how we respond to all situations. And then we talked about the brotherhood, right? Of who you get to do it with and what we get to represent. And just so you know, as we jump into this season, it's time to keep climbing, right? We've had a lot of this. Thank you. We've had a lot of positive growth, right? But just like I talk to our players every single day, right? We've got to keep our eyes where they need to be, and it's on the next step that's in front of us. So I'm gonna use you as a crowd to get a little bit of involvement tonight, right? I need to hear you and I need to feel you. So as we go into this year, I've been asked the question so much. Well, Coach, now there's expectations for your program. Well, we're at Florida State. Let me tell you, there's been expectations the day I stepped foot on this campus, and there's never been expectations on the outside that are greater than the expectations that we've had on the inside. That's right. And as we've had to go through this journey, right? Man, we've had to overcome some challenging moments. But we've had a football team that's believed in where we could go. We've had a football team that believes in who we get to do it with. And like I said earlier, we have a football team that believes in what they represent. But now as the outside, and the country gets a chance to see this team, I'm excited that they see the value, they see the excitement, they see the potential of this program and what we're getting back to. But once again, there's no expectations that are higher than what we have within it. And as I tell our players all the time, this journey that we've been, we've learned some lessons. We've had to face adversity, we've had some success, right? But ultimately now it's about the application. As we go into this season, it's about the consistency that's necessary. Right? You look back this last year, and starting the season, 4-0. Big win early in the season down in the Superdome. Right? Going on the road, facing adversity, a conference opponent, losing our starting quarterback in the middle of the game, having to come back and win. Right? Saw some really good things early in the season. Then we hit a rough spot. Dropped 3 straight games to ranked opponents at the time. And, every game there was a different element or a different situation that cost us. But we had a team that believed in what we could do. We had a team that continued to build, that continued to fight, that continued to invest, to work, to go get better. And we had a football team that responded by winning their last 6 games. We had a football team that finished up. We had a football team that finished up with our 25th 10-win season. Right? We had a team that not only after the year, the response that they had, but when the choice came for many of them on what they were going to do with their next step, they chose to hold off, maybe going to the National Football League. They held off, that instant gratification, because they weren't done with what we were doing in this program. We've been able to attract some incredible student athletes from the high school ranks, some incredible transfers that have come in to be a part of this. Hugh talked about the returning production. We have the most returning production of any school in the country. But we've also been able to bring in guys that are helping elevate and push that standard of how we want to operate in everything that we're doing. And with all those things that have been behind us, we can't get distracted by spending all of our time looking back. Because once again, our eyes got to be on the most important thing that we have. It's a step in front of us. And so how I start our days around our program, I talk about where we need to keep our eyes. Because ultimately, if you spend the entire, we talk about this climb and where we're going. And you guys remember from last year, where are we trying to get to? To the top. We're trying to get to the top. Right? That's where this program belongs. That's where this program stands for. But there's only one way that you can get to the top of a mountain. And what do you got to do? You got to climb. And so just as I tell our players each and every day, man, if you're climbing to the top of the mountain and your eyes are always looking back, you're probably going to slip. On the flip side of it, now, the outside and the distractions and everybody talking about what's out there for the finale. If you're climbing a mountain and all you're doing, right, is staring at the top, you might miss the important step that's right there in front of you. So I always talk to our players, man, you keep your eyes up, looking at the next important thing, and that's that next step, because the climb continues. And that's the journey, and that's the mission that's ahead. And so when I tell our players, eyes up, there is the response. And so I told you that tonight I need a little bit of interaction. We turned up the heat for you. But I need to see what you got inside right here. Eyes up! Keep quiet! We will end this meeting right now if that's all you got. This is a record crowd. Am I right? A record crowd? More than that's ever been here. And we didn't even make this table shake at all. Is that what you're going to sound like in Orlando? So what are you saving it for? Right? Tell me what day is okay to be average. Tell me what day it's okay not to be your best. So I'm going to give you another chance on this one. So you better clear it out. Take a deep breath. Because Coach Andrews will start up down in you if we don't get a little bit more than that. Eyes up! Keep playing! Eyes up! Keep playing! Eyes up! Keep playing! Because that's the mission that we're on. But that's what I'm so excited about with this team. We're 15 practices in. We've had an incredible offseason. From the winter program to spring practice, the summer workouts, everything that we've done has been focused on our objective. Because there is only one objective when it comes to our program. For every player that comes in, I tell them the very first day that they get there, there is an objective that we have to live up to every day here at Florida State. And that objective is to get better. Every day we have to improve. And we have to do it to our standard. And that's the standard of excellence. Amen. And that standard of excellence is defined to our players by our best. So in everything that we do, we have to have a daily focus on improving our best. Yeah. So as I just said to you, there is no day that is okay to be average. There's no day that it's okay, right, to stay the same. Because we have one focus, right? And that's to be the best that we can possibly be. To give all that we have in the moment. There might be a play, there might be a quarter, there might be a situation that shows up where we get knocked down. But we get our butt back up and we continue to push to get better throughout this journey. And that's the approach our guys have taken. Those guys that came back, that had opportunities. Guys had first-round grades. Guys had opportunities to go get drafted. And I remember sitting down with them in December and January. And, it's kind of funny because some of them, they were trying to see if it was a negotiation. So, Coach, if I come back, those mat drills, are those still going to... And I said, I promise you one thing. You decide to come back, this is going to be the hardest offseason that you've ever seen in your life. This is going to be the most challenging fall camp that you've ever seen. Every day I'm going to push you beyond what you even think that you can do. Because it's my job to help show them what they can do. It's my job to help show them where they can go. Because ultimately, as we go through this journey, we get one shot at it. And I'm so very excited about this team, this group, these coaches I get to do it with. And this incredible fan base. We have one shot to live out 2023 football season. And we got to live up to that objective. We've got to get better. And we've got to get better being our best. And if we get that on a daily basis, I have no doubt there's no limits to what this team can do and no limits to what this team can accomplish. Because I know who I coach. And the thing I'm so proud of is I've watched a team that has truly embraced the work. And everybody talks about it. Right? But it's one thing to talk about work, it's another thing to go live it. And for us, and many of you know, it's not just about one aspect of their life. And how you do anything will be how you do everything. And that standard of being their best, that is the challenge for our guys. Right? For what they're doing in the media room, to what they're doing in the classroom, to what they're doing socially, to what they're doing on the practice field, in the weight room, in every aspect of their life. Trying to push to be their best and continue to improve in that journey. And you've seen a team that has absolutely embraced that. From last fall, you got to see it happen. Yes, the 10 wins were great. Finished up top 10 in the country. That was wonderful. You also had a team that did it while having the best team GPA ever in program history. They were a 2.9, I think it was a 2.92 team GPA last fall, which is remarkable during the season. But the thing I was really proud of is when they came back in the spring. Well, let me ask you, what did I say our objective is to do every single day? Get better, being your best. Well, this spring they only came back and they got better. It's the first time ever in program history that we had a team cumulative GPA of a 3.02. And that is something that I'm so very proud of, because as I remember when I was in college, I really didn't like school very much. Now, I'm sure all of you did, right? But when you're willing to push to be your best in something that you don't always like, right, how much easier will it be to push to be your best in what you love? Now, we have a football team that loves being a part of this university. And those guys that came back, those guys that have come in, right, I mean, you sit there and you look at the opportunity that's there. I mean, guys would not have come back if they didn't love who they get to do it with. If they didn't believe in the development and the growth that they would continue to see. And if this university didn't absolutely matter to them. And the guys that have joined our program, yes, we have some great transfers that have come in. We have some incredible high school players. I mean, you're going to get to see a lot of young true freshmen that have already, in the last few weeks of the summer, that are going to put themselves in a position to help us win games this fall. We've got a great group. But what I love is everybody that's joined this program and everybody that has been within this program, and they all had to say yes. And as we go through our process, and it is always about finding the right fit for Florida State. I tell people all the time, Florida State is not for everybody. It's for the real ones. Because every program in the country right now is talking about winning a championship. They all are. Just like every player's talking about going to the NFL one day, everybody talks about wanting to be successful. But when the work shows up, when the challenges are there, when it doesn't look good and it doesn't feel good, that's when your identity gets put on display. And as I've watched this football team embrace the work, as we took them over to Jacksonville a few weeks ago, and I was praying hard. I wanted humidity, I wanted sun, I wanted no wind, and the good Lord answered my prayers. And I watched them hit. And I watched them fight. I watched them get knocked down. I watched them pick each other up. I watched a team that, knowing the challenges that were ahead, they ran right into it. They attacked it. Yeah. And for the last 15 days, I've seen them every day bring that mentality, bring that mindset. And I see a team that's doing it together. And as I tell our team all the time, hard work does not guarantee success. There's plenty of people that work hard, right, that don't always achieve success. But it dang sure puts you in the best position to be able to go get it. And as you go through the journey, you're willing to make that investment. It's about being consistent, right, in how you do it as well. And as for our team, that's one of the biggest focuses as we jump into this season, to take the lessons that have been learned, to build off of the positives that we've had, and to go apply it while being our best on a daily basis in every aspect of our game. You look back a year ago, there's only 3 teams in all of college football that had a top 10 offense and a top 15 defense. Florida State, Alabama, and Georgia. Yeah! And we have a football team returning, right, that is embracing a new standard of being their best. And as I go out there and I watch them in the fall practice, we see a bigger team, a faster team, right, and a closer team in how they prepare and what they do. And I'm so excited to hear in the next, 11 to 12 days to get an opportunity to take that field with this team. Not only because of the skill set and the jersey numbers that they're going to wear, but what they have in here. This is a team that has built up an identity. We talk about that no way of how we want to play, what we want it to look like. Right? The first thing is we want a team that plays smart. And this team has invested. They've studied. Right? They have the game experience. They understand the situations that allows them to then play fast. Right? And Coach Storms and our strength and conditioning staff, they've done a remarkable job You know, we go through and everything that we do is tracked with our GPS and you know, obviously, you know, seeing the workloads, and we have blown the numbers out of the water for what we've done, right, in years past. Because of the training, because of the investment, because of what these guys are doing, not only nutritionally, but hydrationally, you know, what they're doing with the athletic training, every part of their body, it's the willingness to push, right, to be their best, which will allow them to play fast, which also allows them to be physical. Coach Andrews and I talk every time he comes out to practice. That's what we talk about. Because physicality is not something that happens because you talk about it. Physicality is something that has to be developed on a daily basis. Right? We talk about that mental toughness. Well, it also has to show up in that physical toughness. Right? And we have a team that has embraced that, right? Because of who they are and how they train. And then lastly, you know, we want a team that finishes everything. You know, as we jump into this year, we talk about a legacy. Because each year, you get one opportunity to leave a legacy. And as I talk to our team, you know, a legacy, man, that's a gift that you get to leave. You get to leave for others because of the action that you have. You're not going to ever leave a legacy because of a speech that you give. You're never going to leave a legacy, right, because of the words that you say. You're going to leave a legacy but based off the actions and the example that you are on a daily basis. Right? For those that are around you. And it's about embracing that. It's about embracing that opportunity and that challenge. And that's what's in front of this team. Because as you look back at the 2022 team, one of the gifts that they left, and they showed how to respond. So we came out of the month of October, and there was a lot of pissed off people in our program. Right? I was leading the charge. You saw a team that made a decision. They made a decision to continue to focus on those little things, to continue to improve, to continue to come closer together. And they won the last 6 games. You saw a team that cared about each other. And I think about moments to a year ago, you know, those defining moments of a legacy that's left. I remember the bowl game. I remember the last drive. I remember when Big Jazz got rolled up and was laying on the ground. And I saw brotherhood that was put on display. I saw a team that showed their care for somebody that had only been there for 6 months. But that was family. And continuing to build upon those relationships, continuing to build upon the opportunity and the understanding of who and what you represent. Man, it gives you such an incredible foundation for where we're going. As we talk about this team, and we're going to get our first opportunity here September 3rd in Orlando. Right, only game on national television. Right, 2 top 10 opponents. The stage that you're built for. Yeah. That's where Florida State and our program needs to be. And these players are put back in position. And these players have put us in a position, right, to come into this year with expectations from everybody on the outside. But once again, there's nobody in the world that has bigger expectations than what we have on the inside. And it comes down to how we work. It comes down to how we do all things. Continuing to improve. Right? Being better than our best. And as we go into the season, I can tell you that the climb continues. Right? We're just getting started to where we're going. Now, we have an incredible team it's the best depth that we've had, the best competition. Right? Every day is an absolute battle. Offense, defense, special teams. And you find in a team that when the moments are big, when the challenges are grand, they nod their heads and they continue to go attack. Right? This year we get to put our identity on display. And I'm so excited about the journey that's ahead. I'm excited about the great success that we're gonna find. I'm also excited about the challenging moments to where we get to put on display the identity of this football team. And we get to leave our legacy for how it's going to be remembered, but also for what it represents. And I'm so grateful for each and every one of you for supporting our program. And this is a special place. I tell people all the time, and we have an incredible stadium. We got an incredible logo. And we've got a wonderful, wonderful tradition. But it's the people that make the place. It's the people that make the place. To all those that have come before, and to all those that will be coming ahead. Now, we represent something special here at Florida State. And there is a standard in how we operate. And there is a standard for what we must do. And I can tell you, we're just now getting started to where we're going. And this season is going to be an incredible year. And I better hear you, and I better feel you throughout this journey. Eyes up! Keep playing! Eyes up! Keep playing! Eyes up! Keep playing! And the climb starts September 3rd. And I look forward to seeing all of you in Orlando. Execution of consistency. Right? When you know what to do, when you know how to do it, right? When you find yourself in the moment, do you trust your training? You know, it's one of the things, I think it's one of the hardest things to do, because when you have experience, you know, that experience is a great thing. But it also presents you other unique challenges, because there's times where you can, well, because I've done this before, I've got it. You know, it goes back to that objective of growth and application. But for us, it's just that consistency showing up on a daily basis, from the biggest of events to the smallest of the details, right? Being able to apply those fundamentals and techniques and concepts there in the moment of truth. And so that's one of the things that we've been harping, you know, at a very high level, is trying to put guys in situations, try to apply the lessons that have been learned, but the consistency of those actions. The great hoodie.
How did you land Patrick's retain, but it's done in the experience of our sector?
Well, the gray hoodie, that was, if I would have had more than one, we would have, could have been, probably could have done some pretty good things with fundraising, right? But, no, it was, you know, Coach Sertan's been great. And, you know, Pat has come in, you know, obviously he was an incredible player. You know, the 12-year NFL vet, you know, he has the experience on the field, but, you know, as I've got to know him over the years, you know, even before I came to Florida State, you know, having a little bit of a relationship with him, you know, it's who he is. It's, you know, he was an unbelievable program there at American Heritage. He has multiple state championships, but it was more of how he did it. You know, the relationships he had with his players, you know, the impact that they have, how they were developed and prepared when they went to the next level. As I got to know him, you know, he got an opportunity to go coach with the Miami Dolphins, and when we had the opportunity, you know, it was one that I said, you know, I'm going to take a shot on this one. And I didn't really know which way it would go. But when I brought it up to him, he said, Coach, you know, there's one thing that I miss. I miss the relationships, the development, helping these young men, you know, on their journey to where they want to go. You know, in the NFL, it's a business. And, you know, that was something that the moment he said it, I said, well, that's just another reason it shows this is why this is the right guy. You know, our players have you know, really done a wonderful job. We've got some great newcomers that have joined the program that, I mean, absolutely have been fast-tracked, that I think are going to provide some, you know, some wonderful plays and reps and all those things for us this fall. But you know, even seeing the guys that are returning with experience, I mean, just the way that they absorb the information from him, you know, because ultimately of just the respect of who he is, but also, you know, just how much he cares about them. So I mean, he's been a wonderful addition. You know, also helps a lot in recruiting. You know, he's got pretty good relationships, and you know, it's been great for our program. Yes, sir. The toughest challenge, it's all about us. And I'm really not, I tell our team that on a daily basis. You know, there's the greatest opponent we're going to face is the one that's in that locker room every single day. And, you know, to have guys that embrace that, you know, it's exciting. And that's where, you know, like I said, from the daily execution to the application of lessons to going out there and just continuing to improve. You know, there are going to be bad plays that happen this season. And there's going to, you know, I can promise you, every one of our players right now, I mean, they're not sitting around thinking of the negative things that could occur. right? It's the same thing with every program and every player. You know, you only picture you picture the 70 degrees and sunny. You picture the success, you picture the celebrations. But when you find yourself in that challenging moment, you know, where do you go here and where do you go here? And as we continue to grow and as we continue to respond in the way that we're trained to, then I have no limits to what I think this team can accomplish. And so, you know, it's really all about us. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
I have a question about the heat with the practice because it's so severe this year, more so than normal. Did you make any changes with that?
So not necessarily changes. Something I've kind of always believed, or that I have believed in, especially since I've come here. You know, having access to the indoor facility, which is great for us. You know, we do go into heat every day, and there's part of it that you have to condition yourself. And you know, there's part of it that I want them to be miserable for a few hours, for at least an hour of practice, where as hot as it can be and what that is. But on the flip side, we're also building up these young men, preparing them for what the season holds. And so, you know, as we go out, you know, we'll go out for usually anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour of our practice that will be outside, being able to use the space, you know, obviously, you know, playing in the elements, but then we also will bring them in at the end, right, and finish practice on the extreme heat days there in the indoor. And it's great because, you know, the sun is so draining. And, you know, I've been at places that didn't have an indoor facility, and, you know, the way that we practice, the way that we work, I mean, if it's daily IVs, daily, you know, cramps, and it takes a toll on the muscles throughout the course of the season. So we try to keep a good balance. I mean, like I said, everything is tracked that we do, but, you know, we push them to discomfort. And we challenge them in their response, but then we also are making sure we're taking care of them. Because you look at it, I mean, our first game, 7:30 at night. Second game, you know, I think it's 8:30 at night. We do have to play up north in a noon kickoff. Those are the three, you know, games that have already been established. But, you know, there's not a whole lot of times we're going to be playing at 3 o'clock, you know, well, none probably in September. So it is a fine balance of what are you preparing yourself for, but we do also want to make them uncomfortable to continue to work on that. Yes, sir.
Hey, Coach, you've got a lot of players who have improved between last year and this year. What ways do you personally look for improvement in yourself? Is there mentors that you reach out to and stuff like that in the off-season for your own?
Yeah, I mean, it's always, you know, we're all looking to develop. And, you know, as I finish up a season, I go back and I do a self-assessment on every decision from, you know, organization, structure, to in-game adjustments, to play calls, to all things that we're doing offensively, defensively, special teams. And you see the things that were done well, and we do this during the season as well. So it's really a collective, you know, it's a 365-day evaluation that we're going through the process. But when the season ends, it's about, all right, well, what adjustments do we need to be making, you know, as a big picture, overview into the program, and then, you know, what are the things specifically for me that, you know, how can I help put our players in the best position to showcase all of their skills and talents. And you know, we will get out, and, you know, I got a chance to go and talk to a couple of NFL teams about different elements of you know, practice, you know, whether it's practice planning, you know, a few things schematically. You know, we have a couple of really special players, and so just, you know, try to grab a couple techniques and things that we can implement into the program. But it's taking the things that we really do well, and how are ways that we can continue to enhance that. And then the things that where we've got to grow, and whether it's the situational emphasis during practice, whether it's, you know, the organizational approach to what we're asking our players to do. I mean, all of it, you know, I try to continue to make sure I'm growing from a lot of different perspectives. So and I tell everybody, I'm never going to ask them to do something that I'm not willing to do. And I can't ask them to go and push every day to be their best without holding myself to that standard and continuing to grow and develop.
Coach, just more comment. Thank you for hiring Coach Atkins.
Yes, he is. Well, I think when you look at the job's been done, and you know, the development of our offensive line. You know, I know I said in the media the other day, you know, after the scrimmage, I mean, we have 8 guys right now that I feel, you know, very confident that, you know, we can go win a lot of college football games with. And you know, and then we've got 9, 10, 11, 12 that are all going to be really, really good players. And, you know, I'm hoping that they continue to take those steps and accelerate the process to be able to help us this year. But to see the talent, the size, Coach Storms and his staff have done a remarkable job. And you see guys like Rob Scott that had to come in and start as a true freshman. You saw Darius Washington, Maurice Smith. I think Maurice Smith, he's a wonderful player. And I mean, he was 270 pounds, 65, 70 pounds, our first year. And we had to go through it. And it was tough, it was challenging, but those guys stayed the course, they continued to grow, they got better, and now I think our offensive line has a chance to really be one of the strengths of this football team, and absolutely where we're going. My race time? Ooh. Yes. The problem is we got a lot faster on our defensive line, so my win percentage is not quite where it used to be, which that's a good thing too. So yeah, I tried to get myself ready for this fall camp, but after 15 practices, my hamstrings tell me I'm getting a little older, so I got to take care of those.
How big of a force multiplier is the football and facility going to be in your program, and how much of a hand you have in it at the time?
No, I mean, it's critical. And that was something that, obviously coming in the door, we knew that was something that we needed to do as a program. Because for me, it's all about development. And, A.D. Alford has been remarkable in that, our administration, from President McCall to the Board of Trustees, the support in getting that started and going, it was an absolute necessity. And so I've had a great role, and Bruce Warwick, our Chief of Staff, has really done a remarkable job within the day-to-day, but in all things that we're doing, I wanted to make sure that the values and the focus of our program showed up in that facility. Because when I talk to the designers of it, when I talk to the architects and the construction of what we're building, it has to play towards the identity we want. So everything that they said, give me 3 words. I said, all right, mind, body, and soul. Everything in that facility, I want to improve their mind. How can we be the most unique team in the country in developing our student athletes to allow them to be the smartest players in the country? Whether it's from virtual reality, whether it's unique dynamics with our field space and how we can utilize different walk-through areas. I mean, every part of that building is going to help our players be the smartest team in the country, right? When you talk about the body, the physical development, within their athletic training facility, the rehabilitation station, our strength and conditioning, continuing to build upon that, and then obviously the soul, right? I want this facility to be a place where players enjoy being. We talk about that brotherhood, and I want that to be their home away from home, where they can, the comfort of being with each other, but also being with their staff, with the coaches, being with all that makes Florida State special. And I'm excited about the plans that we have ahead, and you're definitely fired up for when we'll be able to move in here in the near future. One more question? All right.
Hey, Coach, I want to see if I can do like Irish spells here and get confirmed. How is Verse doing? And I have never seen one team with so many great receivers as this one this year.
No, I mean, Jared's doing great. I mean, had a really impactful scrimmage there on Sunday. Excited about one thing. We talk about that growth. And, I've said this to the media, but, for anybody that's been out at practice, the thing that gets me so excited about this team is, our best players also think are our most improved players. You look at, Jordan Travis, the work that he's put in since last December to where he is now. I mean, it's remarkable. Jared Verse, Jared dealt with some injuries last year where he wasn't available, for, good number of days, there in the fall as we were preparing for games. So there were some things, technique and fundamentally, that he knew he could be better at, and he wanted to be, he embraced that challenge. You talk about that experience when guys go out and, Jared plays at an All-American level a year ago, but he comes in hungry to be better. And I think we've seen that in his play, in his technique, and his fundamentals. And so I think from what you saw a year ago from those top guys, Johnny Wilson, I mean, it was the same thing. I mean, just unbelievable growth. Trey Benson. But what you saw from those guys last year, where I believe they're going this year, I mean, it's just such a giant step here moving forward, and definitely excited about that group and just all the players that I get to coach. I really appreciate everybody coming out. Can't wait to see you in Orlando.